Hello, I'm Mike Beckett with MD Alignment Services. We're going to make a series of videos on tire wear and handling issues on medium and heavy duty trucks. The information contained in it is going to be basically my opinion and my experience, and the experience of our customers that have fed back to us. You're free to agree or disagree with this as it goes along, but these will be my opinions and we'll list what we think works. I hope you enjoy. Okay, this particular segment we're going to be discussing road wander. Road wander, typical from a driver's perspective, is a vehicle that tends to follow cracks in the road, or it feels a little light in the front end, it's squirrely, it's like driving on ice all the time. There's no center to the steering.
You're hurting it.
You're hurting it between the white lines, yes.
Driving all day.
All day, real effort all day long to keep that thing controlled into the middle of the road. In our experience, the number one cause of this is toe. And toe anywhere from 0 to 1/8 of an inch towed out will cause it.
Yep.
If the toe is beyond 1/8 of an inch toe out, it tends to be creating so much scrub like a snowplow that you really don't feel the road wander problem anymore. So it's that mid-level of toe out from 0 to about 1/8 out.
If it's less than 0, if it's a 1/16 of an inch towed in,
Then you don't have it.
you don't have it. The
Yeah.
tires never reach
They
0.
And the reason toe out tends to do it is that one tire is in control of where the vehicle's going.
Only one at any given time.
Right.
Well, generally one.
Generally one. Because one's going to be in control. If you have two of anything, one's in charge and one's not.
Why is one in charge?
Because the one that has the best bite on the road can dominate the other one.
If it has a better touch on the road, so if it hits a crack,
It's off and running.
it will follow the crack. Or for whatever reason, if the weight is distributed just a little different, and one side just starts to get more control, more bite, off it goes that way, and then that way. And
For example, if you're driving on concrete and you're doing pretty good, it's road wandering a little bit, but then you drop the right front tire off onto that asphalt shoulder, and it grabs more and it pulls you off into the ditch. And when you come back, it hangs up on that lip of the concrete and asphalt, and then it takes a lane and a half to settle back down. These are the classic road wander characteristics we discussed.
Sure.
And toe out lends itself to that very easily. The second thing that will lend itself to that is a loose wheel bearing.
Okay.
If you can't control the direction the tires are aiming, you can get a road wander problem.
Okay.
So making sure the bearings are properly tightened is also important to us. Now these constitute probably 90% of the road wander complaints that we see every day.
Sure.
I'm sure there are road wander complaints that other people have solved by doing basic mechanical stuff, because if you have loose steering components, any, a loose universal in the steering column.
Yeah, you're not sure where center is when the steering column just isn't biting the...
too much slop in the steering gearbox.
Just slop the steering gearbox, same problem.
Yep. A loose drag link ball joint.
Or the
Pitman arm. Right?
All the way down to the tie rod end.
Yeah, if the tie rod ends are bad, now again you can't control the toe. If the front spring pin in the front of the front leaf spring is bad, the whole axle can shift axle, and then you're chasing that, you can't control it.
U-bolts.
U-bolts loose, the axle can't be controlled.
That's right.
Now you can take that same concept and apply it to the rear end of the truck. If the bolts that are supposed to be holding the rear axle in place are not solid.
Or if the pins are not held in place properly.
Because the bushings are gone.
Right. Or the torque arm isn't there at all, like a freight line.
All of these basic mechanical things, I'm sure road wander and handling complaints get fixed every day by people fixing that stuff, but we never see it.
Right.
So when we see it, typically the number one problem is the toe's wrong.
But they got it aligned. They set it to a 16th inch toe in.
On a neutral position.
Well, on a rack.
Jacked up, set down on turn plate.
Set it to a 16th inch toe in.
And then when he drove off, as is discussed in our video on as driven, the toe changed, and he has toe out. So you can review the as driven video to get all the details on that function.
But you say even for us, if you set it to 0,
Zero's a bad setting.
Why is 0 a bad setting if you set it rolled forward to a stop?
Because we typically align a truck without a trailer on it.
Yeah.
The minute you put a trailer on it and you put additional 1,000 pounds of load on the front axle, the flex that occurs in the front axle, which tilts the top of the tires in and tries to move the bottom of the tire out, changes the toe.
Just a little smidge.
A 32nd of an inch.
Just a 32nd of an inch, and suddenly you're towed out, not towed in, and that gets almost more annoying than if it was an 1/8 of an inch towed out.
Yeah, if you were a 3/16 towed out, you'd have less problems than a 32nd towed out, as far as handling.
Because now it's just a small variation between this tire having control and that tire having control.
And you're off to the races again.
Okay, well, that makes all sorts of sense.
That's our explanation of our experience on Road Wonder. Thank you very much.